The first fight back, the guy broke his leg in like a minute. And so that wasn't great then.
I was in the back and I heard the noise.
So I checked the kick and I seen his foot like wrap around this way like.
What's happening? Another episode of Chattin Pony with the bad man. As always, obviously, a lot of people like to watch it on YouTube, but you can listen to us on Spotify, Apple Music, give it 5 stars, leave a comment, whatever you just do. Get the algorithm going. And obviously, get over to the Apex website for some Baddy merch. These tops are belters, the Baddy way, so get on them. But today, we have the heavyweight in the house. So introduce yourself, big man.
I thought it was going to be more of an introduction. I was looking forward to a bigger. I was looking forward to you bigging me up then.
I always get me guests to introduce themselves, lad. You know what I mean?
What do you want me to say? Tom Aspinall, 29 years old, 6'5" tall, 116 kilos at the moment.
116
I'm a heavy guy at the moment. And I'm a UFC heavyweight in the top 10.
One of the best UFC heavyweights.
Soon to be one of the best UFC heavyweights to walk planet Earth. That's what I believe. Yeah. That's what I truly believe.
That's what we've got to believe. I always say that, lad. If you don't believe that in yourself and you're in the UFC, you're in the wrong game.
Yep. I completely agree. Completely agree.
Yeah. But, lad, I always say this with every guest, lad. Let's go back to the start.
All right, let's go back to the start.
You know, how did you get into doing MMA and doing jiu-jitsu and stuff?
I feel like I had, like most people from like a newer generation like me and you, I had like a natural progression into it.
Yeah.
So it was like, my dad is a jiu-jitsu black belt. One of the first UK jiu-jitsu black belts.
Pioneer, as they say.
Yeah, pioneer. So I was always like going down, basically when I had nothing else to do, I was like a young, shy kid. And I didn't have like much of a social life. I had bits, you know what I mean? But I wasn't like going out all the time and that. And just whenever I didn't have something on, I'd just go to the gym with my dad. But in them days, it was a little bit different. It wasn't like, there was like these days, kids classes all over the place. Yeah. You can jump in with 20 people your own age. Then I was like 10 years old. And the other 10 people on the mat were 40 years old. Do you know what I mean? So I trained a little bit and then I come off and just mess about or whatever, do whatever I was doing. So it'd just be like a place for me just to kill some time, basically.
How big was you when you were 10?
I wasn't that big though. You know?
Wasn't you?
No, when I left school, I was 5'9".
Don't lie.
Yeah, I was when I was 16.
Was you?
And then between 16 and 18, I grew to 6'5" from 5'9". I used to have some bad growing pains in my back and that. I used to go for scans. Ask my dad. We used to go for scans and all that on my back and see physios because I thought there's something wrong with my back, but it just turned out it was growing pains.
Lad, that's crazy.
Wild, isn't it? It's wild. I know I grew loads.
What's that about?
Don't know.
10 inches or 9 inches in 2 years?
Absolute loads. And I was dead skinny as well. I was dead skinny. But yeah, I used to go and just go with my dad to the gym. So I trained a little bit before. And then I'd just always been to like boxing. There'd be no kids boxing, so I'd switch over to wrestling. I always wanted to do combat sports, but there just wasn't kids doing it at the time. Do you know what I mean? Then when I was about 14, 15, then I was kind of big enough to start training with adults. Do you know what I mean? Because there was no kids classes. And then I started it properly, I reckon, when I was about 14, 15.
So what was you weighing then when you was 15? As you say, you're only 5'9". That's what I mean. You're only 5'9".
No, I must have been. What was I, Dad, when I was 15? Yeah, about 70 kilos, yeah. I wasn't like mad heavy or nothing like that.
Yeah, when I was 15, I think I was like 50 kilo.
Yeah, but you're a naturally small... No, people my weight, like I've got a mate who's like my size, and he's been my size since he was like 14, 15.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Most people like that, but I only grew when I was like an adult.
As you say, when I spoke to Forrest Griffin, lad, he said he was like 200 pounds when he was 16. And I just went, what have they been feeding you, lad? Like, how are you that big?
It's weird. I don't know how it happened. All natural, no steroids.
Yeah,
no
of
steroids.
Course, that goes out saying.
No steroids
it is mad
included.
as well, though, as you say, your dad's not a massive fella,
My brother's my size as well, though. My brother's
he?
my size, yeah. My brother's my size. My kids are big as well for their age. I've got cousins, though. Cousins who are girls who are like 6'1", 6'2". Pretty big for a female.
Just runs in the family then?
Yeah.
Just them good genes?
Miss me dad, yeah.
Yeah. You jealous, Andy? No.
Tell you what though, being big, I'm not even like freaky big either, but some people are like freaky big, aren't they? Like 6'10" and that. Like I struggle getting on planes, public transport, just being in public, in busy places in general. I feel like a bit uncomfortable because of my size anyway. But imagine people like 6'10". Like
Stefan Struve and that.
Mate, there's some big freaks out there. Yeah. And I feel bad for them.
Lad, remember when you fought Volkov? How big was Volkov?
Mate, 6'9". He's
6'9".
Tallest guy in the UFC at the moment.
Yeah.
He's a big guy. And
yeah,
he is one big guy.
I remember seeing him in the hotel and just being like, whoa.
I remember when he came, I didn't think he was that big, and then he came for the face-off. And I remember looking up at him and I was like, my eyes were level with like underneath his chin. Because I'm like, most people like that with me. I remember thinking, yeah, he is pretty big actually. He's a big guy, but I'm a lot faster than him. A lot faster than him.
Well, glad you proved that on the night. You know what I mean? But when did you have your first amateur fight then? And I wanted to ask you as well, what rank was you in jiu-jitsu at that point? Like what belt was you when you had your first?
So I started off, mainly my background really is jiu-jitsu, but I always like did a bit of everything. Do you know what I mean? I would float in and out of striking, float in and out of wrestling. Because my dad was a jiu-jitsu guy, I would always like be consistent with jiu-jitsu. So it's probably like a purple belt. But at the time, purple belt was like pretty good.
Yeah, it was.
Like
very
when I was
good,
18, I think I was 18 when I had my first amateur fight. Purple belt was like, it wasn't like purple belt these days. It was like way different than 10 years ago. So yeah, I think I was a purple belt then. I'm not sure. It's hard to remember this stuff, innit? I don't know.
Yeah, it is when you look back. I know I was a blue belt just because it didn't get me purple until I was a pro. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was a blue belt when I had my first few fights.
It's hard to say. I might have been a blue belt. It's hard to say with me because I feel like I kind of like had two careers, I feel.
Yeah.
Because I had like nearly 3 years off MMA. So
yeah, we'll get to that.
Yeah, we'll get to that.
How many amateur fights did you end up having, Tom?
9.
Nah,
I would have had way more. I would have had way more, but like these days, this IMAF and all that, I would have well gone down that route. But
I say the same. I wish when we was younger that they had the IMAF.
It just wasn't around in them days. It just weren't around. I literally would have had 30 amateur fights if I could have, because I always thought like, it sounds big-headed and biased, but from someone like yourself, it won't. I knew I was going to get in the UFC, mate.
Yeah.
But the first day I put my gloves on, I knew I was going to get in the UFC. I just knew it. So I wanted to get as much experience as I could. Even as an amateur, I weren't asked about an amateur record. I was 9-0, but I wasn't. If I would have been 1-8, I wouldn't have been bothered because it starts fresh when you're pro. So I wasn't asked. I just wanted to fight everyone and everyone. And I think that, like, out of my 9 fights, I'm pretty sure like 6 or 7 were unbeaten at the time when I fought them as well. So I was fighting everyone that I could who was any good before I turned pro. That was my idea, is I want to get as much experience as I can as an amateur, but basically just run out of guys to fight.
Yeah, you're spot on there. I always tell the amateurs in the gym, I say, lad, I wish I would have lost a fight at amateur.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's what I would say. I'd like to say to amateurs, take as many fights with as many good people as you can.
Yeah.
You can protect your record a little, especially these days, you can protect your record a little bit more to get on big organisations now, I think.
You see a lot of that nowadays.
Yeah, it's sad, isn't it? It's sad because it's getting a bit more like boxing, which I don't like.
No, I don't
like that
either.
at all. You know, going to that's why I love Cage Warriors. Obviously, with Graham being your manager, I'm not linked to Graham at all.
Yeah.
Like, Graham's not my manager. I don't really know him personally or anything like that, but I always give a shout out and big up to Cage Warriors because it's even fights.
Yeah.
Like, it's 50-50 fights. It's not like a ticket seller against a guy.
Lad, them shows do my head in.
I hate them shows, mate.
Lad,
it's too much like boxing.
Them, lad.
I can't stand the boxing model, mate. I can't stand it.
Like, it does my head in, because people get to like 25-0 in boxing and they've still only fighting cabbies and plumbers, lad, through the week. And then people who just, they don't want to get finished in boxing. That's another thing I found mad about boxing. I remember going to a boxing show about 3-4 years ago in the Olympia, and lad, there wasn't one finish.
Yeah.
Because they just fought Journeyman, and the Journeyman wanted to fight again the week later, so they didn't get finished. That was the main thing, just cover up.
Mate, they're just trying to do the rounds, aren't they? It's bizarre. Yeah. It's a bizarre thing to, because I've been involved with it as well. I know we're going to talk about it a bit later, but obviously not obviously, but I did have a pro boxing fight and dabbled in that world a little bit, and a lot of the time the fighters are paying the opponents, out their own money, and I didn't even know. I had no idea about this until I actually turned pro myself. You have to pay your own opponent out your own ticket money.
Yeah,
it's bizarre, mate. What is that?
It's weird.
As soon as I found out that, I was just like, I don't want to be involved.
I only know that because of Brandon and Liam, lad. They two make 2 box.
Yeah.
That's the only reason I know that. Literally, there's a few. They were meant to fight on a few shows, and because they never sold enough tickets and that, they can't afford their opponent, so they didn't end up fighting. It's scary.
So bizarre. I honestly didn't know about it, and when I went over to boxing, I was like, right, this will be good. Get me some consistent fights and that. And then they started saying, basically, you have to pay your opponent out your own money. I'm like, I want to pay a guy who's going to come in and try and fucking knock me out. That's what I want to do. I don't want to pay a guy.
Yeah.
I want a guy to get paid off somebody else to come and try and beat me like I'm doing with him.
That's exactly what I'm thinking. If you're paying him, he's not bothered. He's just in there getting the payday and thinking, oh yeah, I'll just last
they
this.
just have they have them big gloves on, obviously, in boxing. They just carry their hands around their ears and just cover up. It's like, how are you supposed to knock someone out? Mate, you try and hit me, I'll try and hit you. Let's see who goes down first. That's boxing for me.
It is.
Not this one guy's like, but mate, these boxers are 25-0 world champions. They've never even had a fight.
So
They've never had a fight. It's bizarre.
How many boxing fights in the
Just
having?
one.
Just one?
Yeah, I just had one.
And how
One
many years
done.
did you take out of MMA for that?
Well, it was a bit of a weird process, really. So the reason I went boxing was, at the time, I was struggling to get MMA fights. Like I kept doing a training camp. I'd turn up, pull out. A few times, mate, I'd have my hands wrapped, turn up to the event, sold the tickets, and my opponent wouldn't turn up. It was bizarre.
Lad.
And then I didn't fall out with it, but my dad knows Peter Fury, who was Tyson Fury's uncle and his coach at the time. And they asked her to come down and do a bit of sparring. So I started going sparring Tyson, sparring Yuri Fury, sparring the other heavyweights down there and stuff. And then started getting friendly with them and stuff. And then they just said, why don't you have a boxing fight if you can't get matched doing MMA? So I thought, right, I'm going to boxing. I'm going to do that for a little bit. So, mate, it took ages to get me license, you know. It took me like a year to get me license.
That long?
The boxing board didn't want to give me a license.
Is that because you fought MMA already?
Yeah, mate, it was bizarre. So I had to go to 3 board meetings in Bradford, which Bradford's pretty far from mine. It's like an hour and a half away.
Yeah.
And I had to like explain to them what MMA was. They pretended they didn't know what MMA was. And they kept sending people down to watch me spar to make sure I could defend myself properly. It was really bizarre. Excuse me, it was very bizarre. And then just messing about with my license all the time, didn't want to give me a license. I finally got it. When I got it, I didn't realise that I basically had to pay my opponent. Otherwise, I would have never done it in the first place. And then I had the one fight, fought an absolute bum, knocked him over. And then I wanted to fight a guy who was like a step up, and they said that he wanted $6,000 for me to fight him out my own money. And I wasn't getting paid. I was only getting paid my ticket money. Yeah. And I was like, I don't even sell $6,000 worth of tickets. Do you know what I mean? I don't make $6,000 on the ticket money. So yeah, pretty soon after that, I was like, you know what?
This boxing's getting a leg.
Yeah, exactly. I want to go back to MMA. Boxing was only really something that I was doing. In my head, it was only... Basically, I started sparring with like really high level boxers straight away, like Tyson Fury, Yuri Fury, Joe Joyce, Daniel Duke. Like I've sparred all these like high level guys, and I was doing okay for an MMA fighter. And I thought, maybe if I do a bit of boxing for a bit, I might be able to compete with the boxers. Yeah. And I was coming on, I was doing really well and stuff, but once I realised you have to start paying your opponents, I was like, nah, it's not for me, this, bro. That
must have been some experience, that though, getting to spar all the Furies, Joe Joyce and people like that.
Absolutely. Like, I think I'm where I'm at because of that. Yeah. Pretty much. Because not even just that, but just being around like the Furies mentally. Like Peter Fury is an amazing coach physically, but I think I learned more mentally off him because he used to take it like really serious. You know, like fighting. Yeah. It used to be like, if I made a mistake, mate, in the gym, like that bothered me for like 2 weeks after. Like I'd lose confidence in the next sparring session just because I made one mistake. Whereas Peter Fury and Tyson Fury and the whole Fury family, really, they just see it for a sport. Do you know what I mean? It's like, if they make a mistake, mate, they have a laugh about it. And I wasn't doing that. I was like, I'd make one little mistake, I'd be like, oh.
Let it ruin your day.
Yeah, it ruined my day. It ruined my week. Like, because I'd like get hit a couple of times in sparring, and I just started seeing it for what it was, which is just a sport. And what's the worst that can happen? You get knocked out, and what? Yeah, you're gonna wake up. That's it. Yeah. Well, hopefully. Yeah. Hopefully. Hopefully. we don't want to say nothing like that. Like, well, touch wood. Yeah. So after that, I come back, and then I was enjoying it again. Then I was loving MMA, and completely different approach, mate. Completely different. Before you went, what was your pro record before you went to boxing? I didn't have a great record because so I lost early on. I lost like my third pro fight. I just got caught in a submission that I couldn't escape. I lost my fourth as well. I got put unconscious with an anaconda. Yeah. Mate, it happens. You're inexperienced. You fight someone experienced. That's, exactly. That's what happened to me. I was a young kid. I was 18, lad, and I fought someone who was like 30 something. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I did that, and then I lost on a DQ decision, DQ disqualification, which that was just a lot of. So my record wasn't even great. I think I was like 5-2. A DQ? Yeah, I got DQ'd me. What for? I need to know the info on this. I don't like talking about it too much because the guy who... I don't really want to talk about it. Don't even say his name. I don't even want to talk about it because he will definitely be sharing this all over Facebook and Instagram as soon as he knows about it. Lad, I always talk about like losses, but I never mention their names. Yeah, well, ever. The guy... You know what I mean? It wasn't... it wasn't an illegal technique. I got done for a 12-6 elbow and it just wasn't. And yeah, it was just a big old mess up.
Yeah, but he said like he overreacted at all.
Oh
but,
no,
yeah.
he didn't. He was actually sound, you know. He got a big cut on his head. The ref kind of panicked, it seemed, and then the show magically lost the footage of that fight.
What?
Yeah, mate. It was all dodgy, but
lad.
I don't like talking about it publicly because
Yeah, I know what you mean.
people seem to like, you know what it's like when you get a bit of like wind behind you, everyone's like,
People want to talk about
everyone
it.
likes to get that name and like.
Lad, I saw it the other week. The Juice head who beat me on Cage Warriors, lad.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Big Roy Dead, he beat me on Cage Warriors, lad. After a beef Vargas, he put a post up. He put a picture up of him getting his hand raised,
It's the
saying,
worst.
I'll come back and fight you. You know
yeah.
what I mean? Lad, you're being cut by the UFC. You're a bum. Shut up.
Yeah. Mate, to be fair, it's the same. I think it's the same with everyone, innit?
Yeah.
Everyone has losses and it's like, you can't celebrate someone else losing. That's just weird, man.
It is.
You can't
I
do
say that.
especially like a DQ loss. But the guy's actually pretty sound, but people like attention, don't they?
Yeah, love attention.
That's the thing, and people will get attention and a little bit of an ego boost wherever he can. So yeah, he beat me on the records. He beat me, so you can keep that. You can keep that win, bro.
So how old was you when you got back into MMA after the little 3 year break?
I think I was 26, 25, 26, and I just matured loads, you know, in them few years that I had off. Like, you know, yourself mentally changed so much between like your early 20s and now nearly 30 now, and like I'm way different to what I was like in my early 20s now. And I feel like being around the Fury family and all them high level boxers and having my dad around me loads and stuff, like that just helped me so much mentally, and mental aspect plays such a big part in the sport that when I came back I was just like, this is it now, I'm going for it.
You're spot on there, lad. Like when I was 18, I thought I was a man.
Yeah, you're just
But
not.
I look back now and think, wow, you was a child. Lad, I didn't become a man till about 3 years ago.
I think I'm still struggling with it, to be honest. I'm married with 3 kids, me, but I'm still struggling with the adult side of stuff. But yeah, I completely agree. And I think as a heavyweight, you mature much later as well. I think I've still got a bit more like physically and mentally maturing to do before like I'm confident on going. Because mate, when I come back from this knee injury, I'm coming back to win the title.
Yeah.
There's no two ways about it. Like this has been holding me back for a long time and it's fixed now. And when I come back, I'm coming back to win the title and that's it. I'm not doing nothing else. I'm not messing about with nothing. And I'm coming back to win the title.
Yeah.
Feel ready for it.
I know what you mean there though, because literally I used to think I was a man, lad, from 18 to 24 and like literally until I turned like 25 and like the last 2 years I realised like no, now I'm starting to mature really.
Yeah.
I'm starting to become a man because like when I look back at some of them fights I had, I was a kid.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I was still a baby.
Yep.
And I was fighting men who, like as I say, I've got 2 losses on my record, 2 of them are to juice heads.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So like, I ate all that.
That's
Pisses me
something
off.
that a lot of people realise as well. There's no testing in these smaller organisations, bro. Zero
Testing.
Absolutely zero.
They can't afford it.
No. And there's a lot of people out there who are never going to get to the UFC simply because they ain't going to pass the drug test.
Or they either get to the UFC and start gassing in 3-round fights and they don't
look
perform
completely
it.
different.
Exactly.
You see that with a lot of Brazilians, don't you? A lot of Brazilians. Since they bring, there's nothing against Brazilians, but there used to be a lot of Brazilian champions before they brought this USADA stuff in properly.
Yeah.
And they're like, you see a lot of them these days, they look a lot different.
The one I think of right away is Renan Barão. He was on like a 32 fight win streak.
Yep.
USADA come in and he got muftied. But then saying that, he got muftied by another juice head, TJ Dillashaw.
Yeah, he did.
Another
He did.
cheat.
What do you think of his last fight, Dillashaw? There's a lot of controversy on that, isn't there? Like, should he have fought with an injury, should he not?
It's one of the, I look at it from his point of view and it's like, how old is he? 38, something like that.
I think fair play to him.
I do. Give him his due.
As a fighter, you've got to go in there believing that you're going to win no matter
and
what.
like, the way I look at it is if you, like Rafael Assunção, who TJ Dillashaw took his title shot against Barão.
Yeah.
Because remember, he took it on short notice.
I remember.
Rafael Assunção's never had a title shot since. Know what I mean? That's how you've got to look at it.
Definitely.
TJ Dillashaw's probably went into that fight thinking, I'll never get another title shot again. I need to do this fight.
Yeah.
Know what I mean? So I say hats off to him. Like, he's went into the fight expecting that to happen, but he thought, no, what, I've got to punch his chance. I'll try and do it.
Fair play. I completely agree. And you always have to bet on yourself. And everyone's injured. Everyone's injured. I'm not bothered what anybody says.
Everyone goes into a fight
I'm
injured.
not bothered what everyone was saying. Oh, you know, the medical staff should have... How are the medical staff going to know about that? Unless he goes and says, listen, my shoulder's popping out all the time. And then they'll say, well, you can't fight. So you're not going to say that, are you? Doing a full training camp with one arm, you're going to try and fight with it. And that's what it goes. I think
something there. Yuri was... Have you seen Yuri? He was meant to be saying, I'll still fight in the UFC. And the doctors are just like, listen, if you fight with that, you might never be able to fight ever again.
Yeah. It's wild though, because they were saying, I read, I don't know how true it is, but it's going to be like north of 18 months till he can come back.
Yeah.
That must be proper bad, that injury, whatever it is.
I read 12 months myself, so if it's 12 to 18 months, lad.
It's got to be bad, because a lot of the time you don't see people vacating the title straight away. They usually do an interim, don't they? So which is... Must be bad, whatever it is.
Yeah, must be bad.
Really bad.
He's got that samurai warrior code, though. I really like him.
I like him a lot.
He said, and he doesn't want to hold the division up.
Yeah, I like that. I like that about him.
I like the way he's done. I think it's very unfair on Glover, though.
Yeah, because they basically just f***ed him off, haven't they, it seems?
They said, didn't they, you've already beat Jan, so if you want to do it, it's Ankalaev, but Ankalaev's a completely different fight, so he said, I want another month to prepare, and they said no.
I think he's probably, I don't know, but will he be done now? I don't know.
He's 43.
It's quite old, isn't it? It's quite old. I don't know. Some people, like, especially the bigger weights, they seem to go longer, don't they, than the heavier weights?
Like, Oleanek, how old's he now?
Oh, he's about 56. I think he's been cut now, though, hasn't he?
Has he been cut now?
I'm not sure. But he is old.
Yeah, he's about
even like
late
when you
40s.
see him walking about and that, he's like, he looks old.
And then I was going to mention Joel Romero, lad, but he's just a specimen.
He's a freak.
He's just...
But mate, even Frankie Edgar, like I just been to the UFC gym in Hamburg, just got back this week. And Frankie Edgar was there, he's 41. Didn't even know he was that old.
I didn't know he was that old.
I thought he was like 35.
Yeah,
I had no idea. He looks fresh as well.
But he's been going for years.
He has.
For years. Yeah. Like, it's crazy to think. I always think about Frankie Edgar. Lad, it's crazy to think that he had the lightweight belt.
He's so small, you know.
Yeah, lad.
He's so small.
He's so small. When I was remember when Cheeto knocked him out?
Yeah, MSG was that?
Yeah, MSG. I was there. And lad, I went away in and that. And I was looking like, Cheeto makes him look tiny.
Yeah, he's so little.
And Cheeto's a bantamweight who's always fought at bantam. And he had the belt at 20 pounds heavier. That was pre-USADA, like.
Yeah, but I don't know. I don't think he was ever juicing, though.
Nah, I don't. Frankie Edgar's not that type of guy.
No, he's not.
Got to get it in. That was pre-USADA.
It was.
Know what I mean?
He said he literally walks around at like 160, I think. That's what he was saying at weekend. He said, I put loads of weight on. I'm like 165. God. But
you're double that or something, aren't you?
No, I'm like, the minute I'm like 255, 260.
Yeah, no,
I'm a heavy guy, but cardio's not my strong point at the moment. That's I'm lifting though. I'm lifting all the time.
Yeah, that's what I like. I think lifting is the big thing, me, for keeping your cardio.
For keeping it?
Yeah.
Why do you think that?
I think because, lad, I'll be honest, when I fought Leavitt, I had a camp for that fight, lad.
Did you? Yeah.
Like, I got back from America like 205 or something, and I had to just get the weight down. I had like 8 weeks.
So it's like a weight cutting camp, basically.
Yeah, it was just a weight cutting camp, 7-8 weeks. But the reason it was like that was because when I was in America, I wasn't lifting. I was still training all the time with J-Flow, but I wasn't like lifting and doing the other bits. And I noticed it when I got home.
So you think that keeps you fit, like cardio, like conditioned?
Like this camp, I was still doing all my weight sessions Paul Reed was putting in for me in America. When I got home, I think I got home about 90 key, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
About definitely under 200 pound, 195 or something. And then I just felt like I had the fitness already there, that built in. I had a bit longer as well this time.
I've never heard that before, actually.
Like, I'll be honest, lad, like, everyone says it every camp, best camp of my life, but this one actually has been. And this isn't going to go out till after the fight. So you're all going to see it when I punch his head in on December 10th. Know what I mean? Everyone will see that this has been the best camp of my life. But that last one, lad, for the Leavitt fight when we both fought in London, lad, that was a rough camp, lad.
Your performance was still good, though. You still look slick.
I didn't think I did, lad.
I actually watched the fight. I was saying, I just watched it. It pops up on my YouTube. I think UFC released it today, did they?
Lad, it's done me head in. Someone else said that, but I tried to find it this morning to watch the whole fight.
It came on me.
I'm going to have to find that when I get in, lad.
Must be good on that. But because I didn't watch it because
I
was on Next Fight. I watched bits. He actually did all right early on, didn't he?
He was weird. I'll be honest.
You can tell he's got like weird technique.
Exactly. He was weirdly strong.
Was he?
Yeah. Like the way he gets called the Monkey King.
Yeah.
Like he was like strong like a monkey, you know what I mean? Didn't look strong, but was like...
You get some people who are just like that.
Lad, as soon as he got hold of me, I was like, whoa, this is weird. But this still never got me down. I was jumping for stuff.
You know body types to look like aesthetically, or however you say it, and then physically are two completely different. Yeah. Have you ever like rolled or sparred with like a fat person who's got like mega good cardio? You're just like, what the How is he outlasting me? Look at the state of him. He's so fat.
Paul Rimmer's a prime example of that, lad.
Is he?
You know what I mean?
Is that fella still training at your gym? That one who used to have long hair? He's a bit of a chunky fella. He used to wear like mad shirts and that. I think he's gone bald now. He just does grappling though.
Tony?
I'm not sure. He has like long hair down here, or he did. He used to always wear like a Hawaiian shirt with it open and that.
Oh no, I don't know who that is. I used to always
see him at competitions. I don't know his first name, but he's a sound guy. He must be a heavyweight.
Oh, Paul Webb.
Yeah, that's him.
Paul
Yeah,
Webb.
He's a cool guy.
He's a great Webb, lad. He's cool. He's so funny.
He's a cool guy.
He's hilarious.
I always used to see him at jiu-jitsu competition stuff. He's a nice guy. He's still competing then, is he?
Yeah, he's doing the 3rd of December. There's something on Infusion.
Is he the Grapple Fest thing?
Grapple Fest, yeah. He's competing on that on the 3rd.
Nice one. Nice.
Yeah,
on,
that's
Paul.
funny. That I couldn't think of you meant then, but yeah, he used to have proper long hair. Now he's bald.
Is he? Yeah. I could see him thinning out a bit, but I've not seen him for a bit.
He's got a kid and that now, lad. So he's got a beard and a shaved head. It's mad.
Has he?
He's went from no beard and proper long curly hair to a bald head and a beard.
Oh, is he? Yeah. Oh, well, say hello to him when you see him.
I will. You probably won't even recognise him, lad, when you see him.
I've not seen him for a long time.
It's quite funny. But yeah, as we were saying, you got back into MMA, and did you fight for Cage Warriors straight away when you got back into MMA? Or did you have another little fight or two out of Cage Warriors?
No, I fought straight on Cage Warriors, yeah. But then I got a bit of a situation then because, so I've been training with the Furies and that, and I almost like, it was almost like I got a bit of like wind behind me from training with them. Do you know what I mean? Like more people knew about me.
People didn't want to fight you.
Yeah. So I'd struggle then. And then, so they put me straight on a main event because I was like, I don't know. I seem to be like a bit of a bigger draw. You know what I mean? Because it was mad. I've not even been doing MMA, but
was it the first fight back? The
first fight back, the guy broke his leg in like a minute, and so that wasn't great. Then
I'll never forget that because I was in the back crying because Vince had just been knocked out by Tim Barnett.
Yeah.
Vince had just been bingoed by Tim Barnett, lad, and I was in the back crying because he's one of my best mates.
Yeah.
And then we heard the noise. You know what I mean? Like I was in the back, lad.
It was the worst.
I was in the back.
It was horrendous.
I wasn't in the arena.
Yeah.
And I heard the noise.
It was absolutely horrendous. You know, it was. I'd literally rather lose than that happen. Honestly, I'd rather get knocked out than that. Like somebody literally be unable to walk for like a year because it was disgusting. Like it was disgusting.
As I say, the noise, lad, I wasn't even in the arena bit. I was in the back.
Yeah.
And I heard the noise and went,
it was horrendous.
What was that? We looked at the screen and he was on the floor and you were just stood there like that. It was
so bad. So I checked the kick, brought the leg up like that, and I seen his foot like wrap around this way, like nearly like wrap all the way around and touch his knee. Like it's hard to explain, but usually you check a kick and it just like bounces off and goes back. It went like that, and then I seen it like come under this way. It was disgusting. Lad. And then when he tried to stand on it, I knew what happened straight away. That was horrendous. That was the worst fight in my career by far.
That's just sent pure shivers down my spine.
It's disgusting. Like I'm proper squeamish as well. I was just like, oh my God. So yeah, we did that one.
Was a belt to the next day though? You went to see him in the hospital?
Yeah, it was actually a few days after, you know. I messaged him on Instagram.
What, did he have to stay here for a while then?
It seemed so bad for him because, you know, we're fighting on Cage Warriors. These guys aren't getting big money for it or nothing.
Yeah.
And his coach had to go back home. Like he's like, oh, I've got to go to work. Like
flight.
So he stayed with him for like one day, and he had to have like 2 surgeries in Liverpool and stuff. And he had to stay in hospital for like I think 10 days or something on his own. Didn't know anybody or nothing. So I just
could he even speak English?
Yeah, he spoke English.
At least he could speak English then, lad. Imagine he couldn't speak English.
I know.
Because I know he was a foreign fighter coming in.
Yeah, I think he's French. So, and the worst bit was, his manager told him, so he had the same manager as like Francis Ngannou, Cyril Gane, he trained at that gym and stuff at a MMA factory in France. And he said, look, if you win this fight, you're going to the UFC. And that happened. So it was the worst for him. So I just messaged him and was like, look, do you need anything? I weren't trying to like, the last thing I want to do, mate, is like go down and take a picture and show everybody how good I am. That's just not me. I literally said, do you need anything? Do you want any like DVDs bringing or, because I didn't know what he had. I said, do you want me to bring any books, anything, anything? And he was like, oh, just bring me some food. So I got him some food and that, took him down, and then like he wanted a picture, so he had a picture and everything. And I just thought, if I was ever injured, I would want someone to do that for me if I was in like a weird country, didn't know anybody. So that's why I did it, kind of thing. But I didn't even want to post it. You know, he wanted to post it, so
I don't even remember you posting it. Like Cage Warriors posted it.
Yeah.
Cage Warriors
I think
posted
I did post it. I can't remember.
You probably reposted it from
yeah.
Cage Warriors, because I remember Cage Warriors
Yeah,
putting
it's
it
just
up.
not my. I didn't do it just for that. You know what I mean? I wanted to try
Yeah.
it, and it came full circle because when I got injured against Blades come and checked on me. So
Yeah.
bit of karma there.
Yeah.
Shout
Some
out Curtis
good
Blades,
karma.
nice guy, nice guy. Thanks for that. But yeah,
You fought again on Cage Warriors after that, though, didn't you?
fought
Got a
again
big
on Cage
fish.
Warriors. So then I fought a guy who was 5-0 with 5 knockouts. Then
Yeah.
same again, just struggling for guys. I was just like, just give me someone, just give me anybody you can. So it was mad, the situation, as we talked about before. Like, I wanted to get as much experience as I could before I went to the UFC. That was my plan. Is I want to go in the UFC and I want to just go for it. But I was always aware that like experience plays a big factor against people like Arlovsky, people like Volkov, people like Travis Brown, who was good. You know, people who are mega experienced. And at the time, I'd had like 6-7 fights, something. So I wanted to have as many fights as I could. Anyway, I had this next fight, and I knocked the guy out, this unbeaten guy. I knocked him out in like a minute or two. And Ian Dean just come to me. Ian Dean, who's the Cage Warriors matchmaker.
Legend. UK
Absolute
MMA legend, lad. I
he is
love
a
Ian
legend.
Dean.
And Ian Dean was just like, look, you got 3 fights. I think either 3 or 4 fights left on my contract out with Cage Warriors. And he was like, look, you got 3 fights left, but there's basically nothing else we can do for you. He's like, we can't match you. We literally can't match you anymore. And as that happened, UFC got in touch like the same. And I didn't really want to go to the UFC, to be honest, at the time. I didn't think I was experienced enough. I knew my level was good enough. Like, I'd sparred loads of top boxers. I wrestled loads of, like, I knew that I could hang skill-wise.
Yeah.
But I just didn't think, it wasn't that I didn't think, I just didn't know if the experience factor would be too much. And I knew that the heavyweight division's quite shallow. So I was just like, shall I do it? Shall I not? Usually when people get the UFC call, they're like, can't believe it. They're in tears and all that. They can't wait to do it. But I was a bit like, I don't know, I want a couple more, you know. But we were asking around shows, like my dad was speaking to everybody, and all the shows said the same thing. We just can't match him.
Yeah.
Literally can't match him. So went to the UFC, and the risk obviously paid off.
As you say, it is much harder for the heavyweight. That's like the reason I said no is because like I was a featherweight at the time, like I'm a lightweight now.
Yeah.
They're always gonna
Definitely.
come back for featherweights and lightweights, you know what I mean? But as you said, and there's always featherweights and lightweights to fight, no matter what.
Yeah.
Like, just look how big the featherweight and lightweight division is.
Yeah.
Lad, there's probably 4 times the amount of fighters in the lightweight division than there's the heavyweight.
Have you been keeping up with the Dana White Contender Series?
Yeah,
I keep up with it loosely. I don't watch it a lot.
There was an English fella on that, weren't
Mick
there?
Parkins just got in. He was a heavyweight who I spar.
Yeah.
He's there's only me and him, heavyweights from the UK. But with that, it's like some of the smaller weights, he's dead picky who he takes on. He's like, oh, they've got to finish. Are they excited enough? What's their age like? Mate, if you're a heavyweight and you win, you're in.
You're in, yeah.
Simple as that. Like, even now, they're still crying out for like decent heavyweight talent.
I was talking about this with Paul Smith the other day in the pod. I said to him, like, in America, if you're a heavyweight, lad, you're going to be a linebacker or something because of the money.
This is exactly, you know, I spoke to DC, right, about going to, because I want to wrestle like some of the top wrestlers in the world. Like, that's what I want to put myself, I don't know about you, but with me personally, I want to put myself in the most uncomfortable situations I can in training. That's what I like doing.
Yeah, because then in a fight, not uncomfortable.
Exactly. So I was asking DC, like I was quizzing him a little bit, and a couple more guys who know about wrestling over there about going over to get some good wrestling training with the heavyweights. And they were like, listen, if you're a big guy in America, you're either going to do American football or you're going to do basketball.
Yeah.
And it's like, almost like wrestling is the people who didn't make it at American football and basketball. So they're not even, the heavyweight division, even in wrestling in America, is quite shallow. That's what they were saying anyway.
It's mad,
It is weird. Because like,
it all comes down to money.
It's all about the money, because them American footballers, mate, them linebackers,
how much are they earning?
They're getting like ridiculous money at college level.
And they only do 3 months a year, don't they? Like,
do they? I don't know.
Lad, I only know this because of Blaze, lad, because he's a Philly Eagles fan. And like literally, they only play for 3 months a year and then do the Super Bowl. They don't.
Wild.
Lad, it's mad. Obviously, they train all year round, but
to
they
be
only
fair, mate, if I was
play.
American, I'd definitely be doing that. Definitely.
You'd definitely be doing that, lad.
I'm still pushing for it now. I don't even know the rules. Have a go.
Lad, I tried to watch a game with him and was like,
It lasts for about 5 hours as well.
Lad. They're on for like 4 hours, but the game time's about 14 minutes.
Mate, have you seen how explosive they are, though?
Yeah.
The most explosive athletes in the world.
It's ridiculous.
It's something like, the average is something ridiculous, and don't quote me on this, it's something like 8 seconds on, 10 minutes off.
Yeah, it is.
Something like that.
Literally.
So they're just mad for 8 seconds, like mad explosive, and then mate, some of the weights that they're lifting, like cleans and presses and all that, it is ridiculous. Like it's weightlifter level.
That's one thing I don't do, clean and press.
You don't bother with that?
Nah, I don't
Why is
bother
that?
with clean and press. Do like squats, deads, all the other
I think
stuff.
it's a bit of a risk, innit?
It is for like, it's not as much for heavyweight. I
I don't
reckon.
know. My techers on that, they're not. If I'm putting big weights up on that, I'll probably pull my back out or something like that. I think you need good technique, don't you, for that?
Lad, them Americans, lad, they just lift and do everything different. As I say, I have Jason Blair come over and do me camps with me. He fights at welterweight, but he was a Division 1 wrestler in North Carolina at 84 kg, but he fights at 77 now. And lad, we go to the gym and do our stuff with Paul Reed, lad, and he's just like that.
Is he a freak?
Like, lad, yeah, he's just a freak, lad.
The athlete programs that they have in America are ridiculous, aren't they? Like, if you want to be an athlete, you're so well supported over there. It's
Exactly.
ridiculous.
Like, when I was a kid, I got told by my teacher to stop going and doing MMA and to start focus on my schoolwork. In America,
bizarre.
they take your schoolwork off you and go, no, focus on this. No wonder they win everything in the Olympics.
I know. And I think the American attitude in general seems to be like they encourage people way more and tell you that you can do it just in general, not even in sports, in anything. And over here, it seems to be like the opposite.
Yeah, they want to put you in a box and say, no, this is what you should do.
You can't do that.
You can't do that.
It's like,
it's mad how a teacher can say that to you, and no, you can't do that.
It really is.
When they're meant to encourage you and drive you on to do more.
I think these days, maybe it's changing a little bit. I like to think so because I've got kids myself now, but I don't know. Especially because I'm from like a small town, aren't I? So it's like a small town mentality a bit like where
Are
I'm
you
from.
into your pie buzzies?
No, because I'm not. That's more like a Wigan thing, you know.
Oh yeah, you're just outside Wigan, aren't you?
Yeah, so where I'm from, it's like a bit of an odd place. No one claims us. So it's like it's between like Wigan, Bolton, and Salford. It's kind of like
in the triangle of them.
Yeah, it's like no man's land really. But yeah, it's got like elements of pasty balm. Pasty balm. Yeah, pasty balm, mate. Yeah. You ever had one of them?
Nah.
High level, you know. High level, top tier.
You don't need bread with a balm.
No, you do.
You don't.
Oh, you need to try it. Top tier, honestly. Cheese and onion pasty balm.
You don't need bread with a pasty. Sorry.
Carbs on carbs, innit?
Yeah,
I reckon you'd enjoy it.
Yeah, after the fight. Probably would.
I'll bring you one in, bro. After the fight,
I'll just never forget going to Wigan to see a doctor to get a cortisone, and it was early in the morning. And lad, I was trying to get like a bacon butty from somewhere. I was taking my niece to Alton Towers for a birthday. Yeah. I was looking for a coffee, and they all weren't open until like 9. I'm like, it's a coffee. Lad, there was a chippy open selling pie balms.
Yeah.
I'm just like, it's 8 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, it's standard breakfast. That
lad, that's just weird.
Standard procedure in the morning. That. No, it's not for me though. I mean, people eat them, but it's not like if you go like to the centre of Wigan, it's like way more popular. I think. Yeah, we're just in no man's land over there. I think.
So obviously, your first UFC fight, as you say, you couldn't get fights anywhere else. Like yours was in the COVID period, weren't it?
Yeah, so again, a bit of an odd thing for me. It was like 4 fights. Now, my fourth one, it was in the Apex, but it did have a bit of a crowd.
That when I had my debut.
Yeah, sorry, yeah.
There was a bit of an atmosphere. There was like 200 people.
Yeah. But like my first 3, especially the first one, the first 2, mate, it was literally like 10 people. It was like the atmosphere of this room right now. There was no one in there.
They had a pin drop.
And mate, my second fight, so I fought someone again from MMA Factory in Paris. And
you love fighting these, don't you?
No, I fought 3. The only one's left is Cyril. He's the only one I've got left.
He'll come, lad.
He'll come eventually. But the guy who I fought, he did loads of spinning stuff like spinning back kicks, spinning back elbows and all that. Really, which is the last thing you want, mate, in heavyweight because it's so dangerous anyway.
Yeah.
And mate, I walked in with my bag. Asked my dad there. We walked in. There was no atmosphere. There's no one in there. Walked in there with my bag all nervous like you do when you got a fight. You're thinking about all kinds of stuff. Mate, literally, as I walked through the door, you know that Joaquin Buckley, when he back kicked him in the face, that most viral knockout ever.
Was that night?
That was that night, mate. And I was fighting someone, and I was like, just don't get spinning back kicked in the face. And then I walked in, and literally that happened, and you could hear it. I was just like, walked past the cage just like that with my little bag, just like, oh, no, please, not me. But the fight went well, luckily.
Yeah, would have been thinking there though. Yeah, there's already been one tonight. There can't be another
That's
one.
what I was thinking. I thought,
there's already been one tonight. There can't be another one.
Again.
There can't be
it was
another one.
horrendous. That was horrendous. That and his head, like, literally could hear his head bouncing off the floor and everything. Shocking. But I don't know. Yeah, you had the one. Did you fight in the pandemic when there was like nobody?
No.
Did you not fight on Cage
Oh, I
Warriors?
fought on Cage Warriors. Yeah, I fought in my last Cage Warriors fight. I fought
Mate, isn't it
Martinez.
weird? It's almost like the punch. I don't know about you. This is how I felt. It's almost like the punches and kicks like hurt more because you can hear them more.
Yeah,
That's how I felt.
I felt it was more like a sparring session.
Yeah, it's weird. I didn't like it
That's
at
what
all.
I thought. In fact, no, what I fought twice in the pandemic. I was meant to fight David Martinez. It was on the 20th of March 2020. So it was literally
just
the first weekend. All the footy got cancelled.
Yeah.
But Cage Warriors still
That's
got
when
it.
I was supposed to make my debut.
Yeah.
Because Cage Warriors still happened, didn't it?
Yeah, and they cancelled the
they cancelled
UFC.
UFC
They
London,
cancelled
yeah,
the
yeah.
UFC
Yeah.
London because Molly was meant to fight. Leon Edwards was meant to fight
That's right,
Woodley.
that's right.
And it got fully cancelled. But Cage, because Darren Stewart ended up fighting someone on the Cage
Yeah,
Warriors.
that's right.
Know what I mean?
They actually offered me on that to fight Paul Craig on the Cage Warriors show.
Yeah.
On the Cage Warriors show,
Paul Craig as well.
Yeah, and I'm actually mates with Paul Craig. I don't even know if Paul heard about it, to be honest. But
That's mad because he's a light heavyweight
yeah,
as well.
Paul Craig was like, they were like, "Oh, do you want to fight Paul Craig on the thing at heavyweight?" And I was like, not really. Do you know what I mean? He's a light heavy and he's my mate.
That was a proper weird one that night. That was even weirder than the year later, to be honest. Like March 2021 wasn't as weird as March 2020 because it had only just happened March 2020.
It was like
the
a very odd
Mackies
time.
hadn't even shut on that yet at that point.
It was an odd time, mate. I didn't like them.
Yeah, I didn't, I'll be honest. I felt it was like a sparring session. I couldn't get myself like
I
amped
was the
up
same,
to...
especially in the Apex as well. And same in Abu Dhabi as well, to be fair. It's like, there's no atmosphere in the back or nothing. It's just like, you're just on your own. And then after the fight, it's the worst because you come back to the hotel. And especially, it really stands out for me, like when I beat Arlovsky, because I loved Arlovsky growing up and that. He's like one of my heroes. And then I beat him. And got back to the hotel there in Vegas. Just me and my dad sat there. Like, no, me and my dad sat there with a pizza, just like waiting for the flight home. I felt like no one gave a shit. It was just like, I just beat two-time UFC heavyweight champ there and I'm just here with a pizza, like with my wraps on and everything, just like.
What
weird.
is that like though, beating like a veteran, a legend in the game like Arlovsky? Because I haven't got one of them on my resume yet, lad, and it must be...
Yeah, it's... With my... I've pretty much fought at the minute, like, I've ticked a lot of boxes with me, even though I've only had 6 fights. Ticked quite a lot of boxes, so I fought like a veteran in my first fight who was like... He'd had like 8 UFC fights when I fought him in my first fight. And in my second fight, I fought like another up-and-comer kind of thing.
The spinning back kicker.
Yeah, the spinning back kicker, the very dangerous man. And then I fought Arlovsky on my third, who's like a former UFC champion. And when I fought him though, I think he just lost his last one. But he'd won...
He'd won like 5 on the bounce.
I think he won
5,
4 or 5 before I beat him. And then 4 or 5 since I beat him as well. So he's doing like, he's not just like an old guy who's
I know it's funny, years ago, everyone was like, his chin's gone, gone. Far from
mate,
him.
I whacked him, he didn't go down. I was whacking him loads. I was like, bloody not moving this fella. Yeah, so I fought him and then I fought Spivak. And then I got a ranking then when I fought him because he was in the top 15.
Yeah.
Then I fought Spivak, who's like ranked top 10, who's like another up-and-comer, who was like good.
That was the same night as me.
Mate, I really rate Spivak. I think he's really good. I think I got him at a good time. I'm pretty sure I'll fight him again.
He's on a win streak now, isn't he?
Yeah, he's
Since
doing
you
really
beat him,
well.
he's on a very like a 4 or 5 fight win streak.
A lot of my wins, they've like
aged well.
They've aged well, yeah. They've aged really well.
See, my first 2 didn't. So.
Yeah,
they
mate,
both got cut immediately.
You got to fight who they give you though. You got
yeah.
If you're getting an easy fight and you're knocking him over and you're getting bonuses and that, fair play.
I think, lad, I'll be honest. I think my first fight was my toughest fight.
Yeah.
Luigi Vendramini.
Yeah. I think it was a tough fight.
He was very good, lad.
Yeah.
But he didn't catch a break, lad, because he was already 1 and 2 going into that, and one he lost majority decision, and the other one he took at welterweight on short notice. Know what I
some
mean?
people just have a bad run, don't they?
Yeah.
They just get a bad luck on the night and that's the way it goes. So who did I fight after that? Oh, then I fought Volkov then.
Yeah.
And
that was great though, weren't it? The O2 that night, lad.
Well, with me, it was always like, can I do it in front of 20,000?
Because you've done so many with no card.
It wasn't me. I knew that I could.
Yeah.
I knew that I could.
But
everybody else was like, oh, he's done all these fights when there's no pressure on him. Can he do it in front of a home crowd? I was like, no difference to me, mate. Absolutely no difference.
If anything, it gets a fire under your arms even more.
But everyone was putting that question on me. I was like, listen, you boys don't know me. You don't know me. I know that I can do it. So I did that, and then obviously the Blades fight, the last one, which That was a shocker.
Yeah.
That was an absolute shocker. So I feel like I've not had an easy UFC run at all. Like, I feel like I've had tough fights.
But I don't think any fight in the UFC is easy.
I don't think
it does
so
me
either.
head in the way, like all these people sitting in their armchair, lad, on the internet. Oh, these fuck bums, this and that about. Not even just me, they say it about a lot of people. They say it about O'Malley and that.
Try jumping in with one of them.
Exactly.
I dare you.
You try and get in with one of them, you little nerd.
And this is something else that people don't take into consideration. Mate, it's all well and good fighting these good guys on friggin' PFL and Bellator, and try getting in with when the UFC pressure's on you. People don't understand what that's like, mate. It's different. It's different. Try flying over to Vegas, mate, with nobody with you. You're on your own, and you got to fight in front of Dana White and all them cameras and all them people. It's different. I'm not bothered what anybody says.
Even Michael Chandler says that, though, doesn't he?
It's well different.
Yeah.
It's
Michael
well different.
Chandler's fought for the Bellator world title he's added, and he says the UFC is just different.
It is, and people don't. It's hard to explain to someone who's not done it, I think.
Yeah.
It's just different. It's simple as that. It is different. And like I say, it's all well and good fighting high-level guys on other shows, but it's not UFC.
Yeah. I want to talk about that Volkov fight, though, lad, because you made him look like a child. Yeah. Like, it was all ass on him. You know what I mean? People thought, how's Tom going to do against this 6'9" fella? Lad, you absolutely schooled him in every sense of the word.
Yeah. And Volkov's a G as well.
Yeah, Volkov's a top quality fighter.
I like Volkov. I love Volkov, actually.
He's a cool fella. He was nice because obviously I was in the red corner and you was in the blue because he was ranked higher.
Yeah.
So like where we were doing like the face-off stuff, I was sitting in the room with him. Know what I mean? And like he was just like, "Oh, you okay, my friend?"
Yeah, I like him. He's a really good guy, and I got a lot of respect for Volkov. Most of the heavyweights are nice people anyway. I don't know why that is. I don't know how that works, but it's generally like that. But I was watching some of them Volkov fights, mate, before, and I was like, he's going to be hard work, this fella. Do you know what I mean? He's good. He's good. He knows how to use his size. He's massive. He's fought absolutely everybody. And at the time when I fought him, he had double the amount of knockouts than I had fights. When I fought him.
He's had some fights though, hasn't he?
He's had like 50 fights.
Yeah,
mate,
he's had loads of fights.
Everybody. And you know what? He's beat the only people he's lost to are like the
title challengers and
like the top of the top. So
I always feel bad for him for that Derek Lewis fight.
Mate, he schooled him the whole fight.
Schooled him for 14 minutes and 50 seconds and then just got it with a big overhand.
Yeah. Like, he uses his range so good and he's massive. He's a frigging giant as well. So
well, if you're saying he's a giant, imagine how I feel when he stood next to me. Massive. I was like, Jesus Christ.
You know what though? It has his disadvantages. Like if you're really tall and
it's easy to shoot under.
Yeah, you can get under him easy, and when they're on the back, it's dead hard to get up. But if you watch his fight with Blades and other wrestlers he's fought, he was getting up really well, you know. Like he got up really, really well. So I knew his getting up was pretty good, but he didn't get up that well against me.
No,
he did one time, but only because I had a Kimura on him. Mate, he got up on his elbow and he posted up on his elbow, and his elbow's that long. I felt like I was going to roll off him. I felt like I was like 6 feet in the air when he was up on his elbow like that. I was like, I'm letting go of this before I end up on bottom. I thought, I've took him down once, I'll do it again. Just let him up.
The sub you got against him was very rare as well, though. Know what I mean? The straight arm lock.
It's rare, but it's not rare for me. I catch that all the time.
That's what you catch a lot.
From half guard, yeah. You know, I don't know about you, but for MMA, I prefer half guard because like you lock yourself onto them. Yeah. Like I love like ground and pound, especially because like from half guard, you lock like the leg in. You're locking their legs in with your leg. Your hips are on their hips, and you can just posture up and throw elbows and stuff. I love that.
See, I prefer full guard.
Oh, you like being in full guard on top?
Yeah. I don't. Yeah. Ground and pound from Sark,
I can see why. Good. I can see why.
People just underhook and get out. I'd rather sit in full guard and punch it in the face till you give your mount or your back.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I notice you're really good on the backs. I struggle with the back, you know.
It must be harder being a bigger dude, don't know what I mean?
Hard because I'm taller than most people. I start like falling off, you know, like forward.
Like it's just there with me. I just jump on. You know what I mean? Like someone gives me an opening for the back, lad, I'm taking it.
Yeah.
Just like me last fight with Leavitt.
It's a great position to be in though, and it's a great position. But no, half guard's my thing. I love, especially because I love elbows. I absolutely love elbows. Yeah. You can catch so many elbows and you can just feed the underhook in from it as well and just go back to it. It's dead easy for me. I love it. But I have like a little sequence that I do where
don't be giving too much away.
Oh, it's all right. It's out there anyway. It's out there. You can see it. Anyone with a brain can see exactly what I'm doing. So from half guard, like I say, you lock yourself in with the leg. Then you posture up, elbow on this side, and they've either got two options. They're either going to get elbowed in the face. Most people don't like that though.
No, they don't.
Or
turn away.
they'll reach up and try and break your posture and pull you back down. As they reach up, obviously their arms are like extended then, so you can easily take arm locks and Kimuras and stuff like that. So yeah, that's where I got it. I nearly got him the Kimura the first time, but like I say, he just dead tall, so I rolled off him nearly. So
fighting someone 6'9", lad, I couldn't even think of that. Know what I mean? I see some of these lightweights where they're like 6'3", I'm like, Jesus. I'd have to pick you up and drop you on your head.
Talking about this the other day though, it's mad the way that in other sports, generally you have like a body type, don't you? You're like, right, a footballer is this size, a sprinter is this size. Whereas in MMA, there's all shapes and like different shapes and sizes, and you can make every style work for you. Yeah. It's bizarre, isn't it?
I always think of that Daron Wynn, who's a middleweight and he's like 5'6" or something.
Oh, the short, stocky guy. Yeah,
him. It's mad, lad, how small he is, but he fights at like 25.
He makes it work.
Makes it work.
Yeah.
But obviously, gonna have to move on to that last fight, the Blades fight. I wanted to ask you that, was that bad going into that fight? Or have you always had like knees problems?
The way that I don't like to talk about it too much because it's like people say like, well, why did you fight with a bad knee? But that bad knee has been bad
for years.
Mate, I've had that since before I was in the UFC.
Yeah.
So I've always been like training around it and stuff. And actually, the last camp, and I thought, Blades, it felt really strong. But it does this thing occasionally where like it locks up. Well, it did do. It's fixed now. I've had surgery on it. But it used to like lock up. So sometimes, to be honest, it never really happened with a kick before. It would, if I was on my knees for too long, like grappling, like in turtle position, sometimes I couldn't stand up because it'd be locked, like bending. I have to get someone to like pull it out. And it just so happened, for whatever reason, that night, I kicked him and my knee just locked up completely. I kicked him, my knee locked, and I just couldn't move it. It just, something snapped in there, and then that was it. So just unlucky, mate. I don't know why it happened. Obviously, I've had a lot of time to think about it, and just one of them things, isn't it?
There wasn't even like a strike landed before it was. There was like a jab or
we were just missing each other. It was a bit of a wild start, to be honest. It was a bit full on both. Like we were both going for it, like right from the bell, but we missed each other like a few times each, and then I just landed a leg kick, and as I went to step on it, I didn't even realise it didn't hurt when I landed it. And then as I went to step on it, like my leg wouldn't straighten out, to step. It was just locked like that, like bent. As I went to step on it, it just gave up. Just like, I can't do anything on it now.
I remember rushing to get out the shower. Molly shouting at me, Tom's on now. Mate. Like I jumped out the shower in the changing room, ran in. We were watching, like, oh yes, come on lad, come on. And then literally it happened. We were like, what's just happened? Like, what's even just happened? Like, we didn't know what was going on.
It was very bizarre.
What did it end up being? Like ACL, MCL?
Yeah, so I tore my MCL and I tore my cartilage as well. So they're fixed now anyway. So I'm on the way back now. And mate, my knee I'm doing stuff now, even like, I think I'm like 4 months post-surgery now. I'm doing stuff now that I've literally not been able to do for years. Like I can grapple on it properly. I do loads of one-legged stuff and that, which I've not been able to do. So
I was going to ask you about the rehab. What's the rehab being like, lad?
Good, really good. Mate, I'm smashing the rehab. I'm smashing the everything. Like my focus has been 100% and getting better. And like I said before, like when I come back, I'm not like before. I was like, it wasn't like I was using it for an excuse, but there's a lot of stuff that I couldn't do, and I was always like, I've got to be careful with it. There's none of that anymore, mate. It's like I'm coming back when I'm ready, and I'm going to go and win the title now, and that's it. I'm going to win the title. There's no two ways about it. That's what I'm doing.
Love that, lad.
But mate, before it was always like, I want to take my time, and to be honest with you, a lot of that is because I knew I had a bad knee, and I need to get it fixed. But when you go in and you're fighting regular, it's always just like, I'll just get it fixed.
Get through this fight, get through this fight.
I've done it before like 6 times. I'll be able to get through this one and then I'll get it fixed. And mate, when does it end? When does that end? Because you always get another fight. Yeah. You always get someone else calling you out. You always get another opponent. And I'm glad that it happened, to be honest. Now, I'm glad that it happened.
Looking back in hindsight.
I'm glad that it happened.
What was the mental aspect of it like though? Because obviously that must have been hard.
Not easy.
Like, could you walk properly in that for a while? You know what I mean?
Well, after I had it?
Yeah.
No, I was sat down for like 2 weeks. It was really weird because I was having loads of work done on the house and stuff that I planned on having. But I was supposed to go away for like 3 weeks after my fight. Yeah. But I only could go away for like a few days, and then I had to come back and have surgery because that's when I got my surgery booked. So we all came back, I had the surgery and stuff, and I was planning on having all this work done on the house like when I was away, so I could come back to it and all the house would be done because I just bought a house and stuff.
And you come back to a building site.
Basically come back to a building site. I have my little kids running around wanting to do stuff, and I'm just sat there with a massive swollen leg, just being like, what has just happened? You know what I mean? Like all the madness of a fight build up and everything. And obviously you think you're going to be coming off a big win and that, don't you?
Yeah.
And I always think, oh, I'll have a nice bonus and I'll be able to chill for the rest of the summer. I'm going to be on holiday for 3 weeks with the family and all that. And it just didn't work out like that. So yeah, the mental aspect wasn't great, but bit of reflecting time in that, and I feel really good about everything. Like I feel like
refreshed.
I feel refreshed. I feel like my body's going to be fresh, and I feel like it gave me a good look on stuff that I've been doing wrong for a long time, and now I can fix it. So I'm happy with that.
Yeah, nice.
I'm really happy with it.
When do you expect to be back in the cage, or when do you want to be back in the cage?
I know this March thing's coming up, and obviously I'm getting asked about that frigging every day. People say, "Oh, you got to be on this March."
I reckon it'll be ready by then, though.
Do you know what? I've rushed enough with this knee.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's...
I'd just wait till you're ready, lad.
I'm waiting till I am 100% confident that I can come back and absolutely spank the rest of the division.
Yes, lad.
And I'm not coming back for anybody or anything else apart from when I'm ready.
Yeah.
Because with this time off, I've been able to like reflect on a lot of stuff. And a lot of stuff, mate. I've had like people around me listening to people who I shouldn't be listening to, and people there wasting my time and agreeing to stuff that I didn't really want to agree to. Do you know what I mean? I'm not talking about my fight. I'm just talking about in general. You know, once you feel, well, I don't know about you, but I felt like I had to say yeah to a lot of stuff that I didn't want to do a lot of the time. And now I'm being like, you know, actually, I need to have a little bit of confidence about myself. I need to have a little bit of backbone and be like, actually, I'm going to do it when I'm ready for it. Not when you want me to do it. I'm going to be ready. When I'm going to be ready is when this knee is confident enough and I'm ready mentally to come back and absolutely spank the rest of the division. I won't be coming back earlier.
Yeah.
So to answer your question, I don't know when I'll be back, but it's when I'm going to be ready.
That's it. You've got to be 100%, lad, especially after having, like, you've probably not been able to even train much. And what have you been able to do recently?
I've just started, done a little bit of boxing sparring like the last couple of weeks. Just started grappling now.
Yeah.
But I've been doing loads of weights and strength and conditioning. I've kept the diet good. And I've not gone into a fat slob or nothing, which I'm happy with. I think I'm well stronger than I used to be because I've just worked on like loads of strength and stuff. So
the weights have helped and you get better.
I think so.
As well,
I think
definitely.
so. And I've been like living clean as well. I've been having a drink and that on the weekends, but like that's normal for me anyway. So I've been doing a bit of partying here and there, but nothing
See,
too
I'm
heavy.
more of an eater than a drinker, me.
No, I like a drink. I like a drink. And I like eating as well. Don't get me wrong, but I think it's put me in a great like mental spot that I needed. I needed a break. Do you know what I mean? I needed a break, and I'm glad that I could have a break and just let the pressure like go down a little bit, get myself right mentally and physically, and then just come back and just spank everybody.
Lad, I'll be honest, I can't wait to be able to say I've had the heavyweight champion of the world, UFC heavyweight champion of the world on my podcast.
I'll come back again if you invite me.
Yeah, lad, you'll be back on that, defo. I know it's going to happen for you as well, lad, because you believe in yourself that much. You've got the skills. Know
but
what I mean?
mate, I never did. This is like, obviously I've always believed in myself, but it's never like, this has been a process.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's always been like, started off as a little shy kid who couldn't speak to anyone and all that kind of stuff. And now it's been like, I'm finally getting to the point now. And I think the injury helped a lot where I'm like, actually, I need to do what's right for me. Yeah. When it comes to training, when it comes to media obligations, when it comes to personal life. Like I never really like, it sounds a bit soft like, but I never really had the confidence to say like, no. Yeah. Actually, I'm going to like do what's right for me. And now I'm cutting off like a lot of people who I know that are not in it for the right reasons. Yeah. With the help of my team, do you know what I mean? My dad's behind me and my agent's helping me out with that. And I've got a great people behind me now where I can be like, listen, we're going to get me to be the heavyweight world champion. No agendas in it, nothing like that. It's going to be like, we're doing what's right for me, and that's it. That's the main thing, lads. What's right for you. Mate, at the end of the day, it's me who's got to step in the cage there in front of millions of people. Nobody else. No one else gets in there. It's just us. I always say that. Mate, if anybody's blocking me from going and winning, then they can't be around me. Yeah. Simple as that, mate. In any way, I'm not just talking about like if people are getting in my head outside of training, if people are trying to drag me here, that they don't have a place in my life at the moment, and they're never going to until I've won the title, and that's it. Because now it's like 100% focus. I'm going to come back and win it, and there's going to be nothing stopping me. I love that, lad. Future UFC heavyweight champion of the world. Well, lad, before we finish up, I put it on my YouTube that you're coming on.
So I have questions sent in, lad.
Oh, yeah.
A little Last Paddy segment. So I've got a few questions for you here. What people have asked, what some fans have
There's
asked.
some weird ones.
Probably, yeah. Know what I mean? There's probably some weird
I'm
ones.
getting bullied on there a little bit. I probably am.
I want to see him as like he's the love child of someone and the V for Vendetta mask. I seen that on there. Know what I
see
mean?
what they mean. These people, they think you don't own a mirror. And so I can see all my flaws as well. You don't have to keep pointing them out.
Yeah, the first one, Cuz199 asks, what are your thoughts on John Jones entering the heavyweight division in the right circumstances? Would that be a fight you'd be interested in?
Oh, of course, mate. Of course, I'd love to fight John Jones.
Yeah,
Come on. I don't fancy one of them spinning back elbows to the head though that he does. But it's very interesting, isn't it? I think anytime somebody carries a little bit more weight than usual, I think that plays a big factor. So I think it's smart of him to do it slowly. But excuse me, that orange juice is repeating on me.
Lad, it's lovely, lad.
It is nice.
I've already drank like 3 or 4 glasses while we've been sitting here.
It's nice. But I think that I'm just interested. Yeah, I'm well interested in it. I want to see. First of all, he's been off for a few years, hasn't he? So how's he going to look after the break? Second of all, how's he going to look against a legit heavyweight guy? Because fighting and training is 2 different things. But I think John Jones has all this. He has like skills to burn, doesn't he? So
yeah, he does.
I'd be interested in seeing that. Definitely, I'd love to fight him.
As you say, 205 and 265 though. That's
big difference, mate. And it's one thing being 265. It's another thing naturally being 265.
Yeah.
Like with me, mate, I'm not making light heavyweight unless I lose a leg or get seriously ill. Like it's just not happening. So like I'm naturally a heavy guy. He's not naturally a heavy guy. Yeah. So it's, mate, well interesting.
I always say it, lad, I'd love to be a heavyweight because I've seen you plenty of times, haven't I, when I'm like, oh, I'm nil biting mouth now, Tom, and you're there having a scran or drinking a chocolate milkshake, and I'm just like, you bastard.
Hey, I just forget. Next time, just say, Tom, there's a lot of people cutting water, and I'll be like, right, no worries. I just forget.
Here's a good question. Stat CMF 4199. Now, lads, hard names, I get that. As one of the most technically savvy heavyweights we've seen in the octagon, is it difficult to find high enough level training partners to get the looks necessary? Are your main training partners also heavyweights?
Yeah, so this is something that I've had to I've had to address over the last, especially the last couple of years or so, especially the last year, really. I've had to travel for training, mate. Simple as that. Like, I can't turn up on a mat with 10 guys who are half my size and think that's all right.
Yeah.
And any coach who thinks that is all right
hasn't got a clue, basically. Hasn't got a clue what they're talking about.
And that's just not feasible to stepping in the cage with a top 5 heavyweight in the world.
No,
like, I'm just simply not going to win. Simple as that, mate. So I've just been going everywhere to find the highest level training partners that I can possibly get. That's why I've been going over to Holland, sparring Rico Verhoeven a bit, the best kickboxer in the game.
Yeah.
The best heavyweight kickboxer ever. I go up to Sunderland to train with like Phil DeFries, Mick Parkin, who's just got in the UFC. Mate, just any of the top heavyweights in any discipline. Like, I want to work with them because, mate, it's absolutely pointless pissing in the wind if I turn up to the gym and there's 10 lightweights there. What's the point? There's absolutely no point. It's a complete waste of time.
It is. Like, I know we have a big lad in our gym, lad, Mustafa.
Yeah, I know him. Yeah,
he's about 6'7" or so.
Yeah, he's a big dude.
Know what I mean? And it's hard to get him sparring partners like because he's so big.
Yeah, it's just...
I can remember sparring with him before the Martinez fight and he grabbed me in a body lock and bruised me rib. Know what I mean? Popped me rib or something.
It's just not going to work, mate. Heavyweights are way slower than everybody else and they're way stronger. Like, it's just not... I need to have the... And something else, mate, is like, if there's small guys in the gym, I can't get motivated to go and train with small guys. Yeah. That's an issue.
You know you can manhandle them?
That's an issue. Like that, if you've not got no motivation to go and train and you're not inspired to go and train, like that's an issue. I want to be challenged and pushed in the gym. Otherwise, what am I doing? Wasting time.
Yeah, next one from Matthew McManus. Could you ask the big man his thoughts on how many fights he would like to get himself back in pole position in the heavyweight division and who he thinks he will be meeting at the top, because we all know Big Tom's getting there. We do, lad.
Well, we appreciate the compliments around here. I'll take them all day. I don't know. The heavyweight division is so...
You're going to come back and fight someone in the top 10 no matter what. No matter what.
Yeah, I'm all right with that. I'm good with that. I'd like to fight someone not in the top 5. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'd like to fight someone lower down the top 10, first of all. Mate, the heavyweight division, especially if you're close to being ranked or you are ranked, you're 2 fights away from a title shot, two big wins away from a title shot. But as far as who's going to be the heavyweight champion when I'm up there, I don't know, because it takes one shot at any weight.
Never mind heavyweight.
Never mind heavyweight, exactly. So you never know. Obviously, we've got Ngannou at the top at the moment, but is he going to stick around? We don't know. He's a dangerous man, but we don't know. You never know at this weight.
You're spot on there. Here's a question, but we've half spoke about it, to be honest. Josh Ludwig asked Tom, do you have a change in mindset post-injury? Has it affected you mentally and your motivations to achieve what you want to achieve in the UFC? Yeah,
we've pretty much spoke about that. Spoke about that one.
Holden Hunt asks, how does it feel when you first step in the cage for a fight? I can't even remember now. It was that long ago?
I'm pretty much the same, Yeah? I can't even...
like you had your debut in like 2011 as well, didn't you?
Something like that. I don't even know. I'm terrible with timelines, but I remember thinking, like, my body's not working as well as it does in the gym. Usually a bit easier. I don't know, like when you're nervous and that, you learn to deal with that as you go.
Yeah,
the nerves never leave you. That's something that you learn as well. Is them emotions, they never leave you. But at first it's like, well, for me, I can only speak about myself, but I was like I almost had 2 fights. I was trying to fight like my opponent, and then I was trying to fight like myself. I was trying to be like, you can't be nervous, and it's like, no, it's actually good to be nervous. Just go with it and enjoy it. That's what I try and do now.
It is like, I embrace the nerves of me, and like I feel it as like good butterflies, and I just love getting in there.
That's what I'm like now. I absolutely love it. But at the time I felt like I was like, I felt like I was like underwater a little bit. Yeah, a little at first.
Yeah, it is a funny one. Kieran Singleton, music asks, who are your go-to music artists in the gym?
DMX.
Yeah, mine's rap.
Yeah, definitely. I go DMX all day, mate. DMX can fire me up. Yeah, big time. He's a bit old school now. He's dead as well. R.I.P. DMX. But he's a little bit. He's old school, but it never stops firing me up, mate. DMX. I don't know. There's something about his voice. Yeah, I know. There's just something about DMX that just fires me up.
Harrison Greenwood asks, what did you do for work prior to MMA?
So I always worked, but the way that I worked, luckily I've got a very supportive family who they was on board with me goals. They were never like, Tom, you need to get a real job now. They were just like, especially my dad, obviously my dad's my coach as well, but they were always like, just make enough money so you can train. That's all you got to do. Mate, so I used to worked at a gym. I actually was a cleaner in a gym at first. Then I progressed to being like a PT a little bit, did a bit of that. Worked on the doors a little bit, taught jiu-jitsu a little bit, taught MMA a little bit. Mate, always what I did was like just to
get by
so I can train. Yeah. And it was particularly tough for me, I think, because I had kids as well.
You can't just got to provide for yourself.
Kids. I was lucky.
Kids, I haven't got no kids and I'm still. And I just done like privates to get by. I've never had a normal job. I've never had a normal job, lad.
But especially like when I got, my close circle was never like this, but a lot of people around was like, because I got twins, and especially like when I had my twins, so I had 3 kids, and I didn't really have a job. I was just like doing a few privates and that. I was fighting on like Cage Warriors, and I was having pullouts and stuff, and a lot of people were like, right, you're going to get a job now? Or what? You got like 3 kids. But yeah, that's where that belief comes in. And like I say, luckily, I've got a lot of, like my close circle, they were always like, you know what, just do what you can to, because they all believed in me. They all knew that I was going to get in the UFC and make money. So I'm very lucky in that aspect.
Lovely. And last one. Shin David asks, what is your favourite way to win a fight? Submission, KO, or decision? Just want to win, first and foremost, by finish. You know what I mean? That's the main thing. Winning by finish in spectacular fashion.
I agree. But if I can knock someone out, mate, I don't know. There's nothing better than that.
It's a weird feeling, isn't it?
It sounds a bit odd, and I feel like a bit of a psycho saying it, but there's nothing better than being stood over someone when they're down and you're like, I just did that. I just love that. Like, when you feel that rest hands on you, there's nothing quite like that. There's nothing quite like it.
That debut I had where it still pisses me off that it went down as a TKO, lad. He was lying on the floor that, knocked out. I was that TKO.
He was out. He was snoozing.
Still went down as a TKO, lad. I'm fuming over it. But I think as well, because we're more submission artists, getting the knockout feels a bit better.
I remember the first time I knocked someone out and I was like, is that it? Is he knocked out with that? Like, I threw a dead stop punch. I was like, He's asleep. He's asleep and I'm awake. What's going on? But yeah, I think knocking someone out, I love that. Love that.
Say, I think I'm the same, to be honest. Well, lad, this has been an absolute pleasure. Thank you for coming on.
Me, mate.
Lad, tell everyone where to find you on your socials and if you can shout any sponsors out.
I'd love to. Yeah. So I just started a YouTube channel, actually. Tom Aspinall Official. Tom Aspinall Official on YouTube. Just got a video up today, actually. You can find me on Instagram, Tom Aspinall Official also. And I'd just like to give a big shout out to my sponsors, Jim King. Who else have we got? Ant? Ultra MMA, Ultra Nutrition as well. Redline. Vitality CBD, who have all stuck with me through a massive injury, which is very that touches me. That as well,
some sponsors can back away.
Mate, then people, because of it, this injury, especially at first, we didn't know what it was, and it's like, is he going to be out? Is that it?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Is that it for his career? A lot of people was like, you read these comments and people are like, that's it, he's done now.
Yeah, it's never going to be the same.
No, I'm just going to fix my knee and come back better, mate.
Yeah,
simple as that. But
I love it.
Yeah, and luckily these sponsors who I've got, they're absolutely amazing, and they're on board and they're stuck with me. So big shout out to all the sponsors as well. Appreciate it.
Lad. Well, as I say, it's been a pleasure having you, and hopefully, lad, when you have got that big world title, we'll get you back on, lad.
I'll put it here. Yeah. Rather than the pillow, it'll just be the title.
It'll just be the belt. Just chill.
I'll rest on the belt,
just
mate.
Sitting there.
Thanks, mate.
Great stuff. Another episode in the bank, people. See you next week.